So this has been an incredible offseason for us college football fanatics, and multiple teams can boast that they have had a productive offseason. However, not many teams can match the level of productivity the USC Trojans have been able to achieve this offseason, both in terms of getting themselves in really good positions in multiple recruiting battles, as well as taking full advantage of the transfer portal. And today, we need to talk about another big addition Lincoln Riley and the Trojans got, this time flipping thought to be Georgia Tech commit to the USC Trojans and Solomon Byrd. We need to discuss why this is such a big deal for the Trojans. But before we do, as always, y'all know the drill. I need to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, Y for yes, N for no. Are you looking forward to Lincoln Riley's first season as the head coach of the USC Trojans? And let me know what you're thinking. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed this content, like and comment down below, as those interactions may seem small, but they truly are massively impactful to content creators such as myself. But having said all that, let's break this down, and this is an intriguing get for the Trojans. As I said, Solomon Byrd was thought to be a lock to Georgia Tech, transferring from Wyoming. But that's why I always say whenever we're talking about recruiting, and now by extension the transfer portal, it's not a done deal until the ink is dried and they are on campus. Because until that point, I've seen too much happen in recruiting to fully believe it. But this is a fantastic get for the Trojans. And when we look at it, this is a position that can really add a lot of benefit for USC this year. Solomon Byrd was someone who was productive last season, getting 3.5 sacks. But if we really dive into their career, 2019 is going to be the year that they try and have Solomon Byrd replicate. In 2019, he had 20 plus assisted tackles, 20 plus solo tackles, and 6.5 sacks. And if they can get that type of production out of Byrd, they're going to be over the moon. This is an area where we talk consistently about not being worried about USC's offense, especially with who's at the helm of that offense, and both Caleb Williams at quarterback and Lincoln Riley as the head coach. But we've had questions as to how USC's defense is going to look. And look, in complete transparency, USC has answered a lot of those questions. Now, we still need to see what it looks like on the field. We still need to actually see how the results come together. But right now, all we have to go off of is what's on paper, because we don't have results on field right now. But if we look on paper, man, USC has done a fantastic job in the transfer portal at understanding the needs present and going out and addressing those needs. Look, this was commitment number 16 for the Trojans via the transfer portal, and we can run through the list of defensive guys because that's the area I keep harping on for USC. And USC fans, you've heard me say this consistently. Many of you agree. Some of you have told me down in the comments, hey, I think we're going to be a little bit better than expected, but we do need to still see it. And in fairness to you, I can understand how someone would believe that when you look at all the additions they've been able to make defensively. Now, do I think it's going to be a complete product year one? No, I think Lincoln Riley is going to continue building this team for a few years, but that doesn't mean that you're not in a place far exceeding where USC was before Lincoln Riley took over. And really, right now, that's the mark. But let's look at this list defensively of the names they have gotten via the transfer portal, because there are a lot of guys that are going to come in here and be of massive benefit. You have Earl Barquette, you have Tyrone Taleni, you have Mekhi Blackman, you have Latrell McCutcheon, Ranello Height, then you have Shane Lee from Alabama. You go and get Bryson Shaw, and then you get Eric Gentry. And remember, Eric Gentry was an individual that I had talked about for a few videos as being someone in the transfer portal that I was trying to get as many people aware of as possible. That's an individual that was highly productive for Arizona State, and he was someone that the Arizona State fan base were really excited to see take on an increased role next upcoming season. But because of all the chaos surrounding Arizona State, he decides to look elsewhere. Well, Lincoln Riley and the Trojans, understanding the situation, understanding the talent he has, were given an absolute gift in that situation, and now Gentry's going to be trying to have that big year with USC. But it's not just relegated to Gentry, and in fact, it's not even just relegated to Solomon Byrd. We've talked about Byrd, but Shane Lee, someone I've talked about before, giving them a ton of tangible experience. Shane Lee played the entirety of his freshman year for the Alabama Crimson Crimson Tide. He had to do so because of injuries. But what that did give him is the opportunity to learn. Not only that, but it got him the opportunity to learn under Nick Saban. And so now whenever you hear Shane Lee go from Alabama to USC, you're looking at that individual to be the quarterback of your defense, and you're faithful in that because of the experience he's been able to add in with Nick Saban. And that's something that you just can't replicate. He got tangible playing experience, and he got some of the best coaching experience you'll be able to find on the Division I college football level. And now Lincoln Riley and USC are the beneficiary of that. And so I bring all of this to you because this is going to be an incredibly interesting season. And I think this creates the question of what is the ceiling for USC this year? And I think the answer to that is competing for the Pac-12 championship. And I know some people are going to say, well, what about playoffs? Well, look, there's certainly a possibility depending on what happens in the Pac-12. I would consider that to be a very long shot. And I'm not trying to take a shot at USC. I just think it's so early. And considering where Clay Helton had this program, Lincoln Riley's done a lot of good work, but let's not forget what still needs to be done. This is an indication as to how good USC can be, but they have to get there. But if we're asking what the ceiling is for USC, I'm very interested in hearing from all of you, because if you look around the nation, you hear a ton of different things. You hear some people say, oh, well, they're going to be a good team, but I don't know that they're going to be great. You hear other people saying it's a guarantee that they're competing for the Pac-12 championship, and then you hear even others saying they're going to the college football playoff. I find myself probably in the middle group, where I think that this is going to be a really solid team. I think they've done a lot of great work in the transfer portal to address needs now, taking that Michigan State blueprint. And look, why wouldn't you? But on top of that, we also need to understand there are some areas where USC still needs some help. And when we look at some of the teams in the nation that are so ready now from a top to bottom perspective that have years of preparation on USC, that's why I don't know that I would say they're a college football playoff team. I don't have them going to the college football playoff, but I do have them being a really, really, really exciting team to watch this upcoming year. And I think they're in for a successful season. But that's why I'm so interested in hearing from you. Hop down to the comments, let me know what you're thinking, and based on your results, we're going to make a separate video talking about this very topic. So hop down, we'll have a conversation down in the comments, but I'm really interested in hearing from USC fans, that way I can kind of gauge the temperature. That's it. See ya.